Welcome back to a brand new Q&A video. This is a special Snapchat edition where you guys send me your video questions on Snapchat. I get to look at your beautiful faces and answer your questions. And big thanks to you guys for all the well wishes on the last video where I installed some LED lights, gave you some life updates, and talked about my eye infection. And by the way, I don't actually need these any longer. I don't need them. Everything's good now. I feel good. Things are actually in focus. But one quick update, after making that last video and wearing these for the entirety of that video, I came to the conclusion I like wearing these during videos. They make me feel kind of cool and edgy and like a 1970s Jack Nicholson. I'm not gonna hurt you, I'm just gonna bash your brains in. And very quickly, before I bash your brains in, I'm sorry, I want to tell you about a mobile game where it's fun, it's addictive, it's free to download, and you can collect coins, build a village, and play it with your friends. The game's called Coin Master, which is the sponsor of this video. It's a social game where you can build your village and attack or raid other villages. The game has amazing pets that can boost your skills. And did I mention Coin Master is the most downloaded game in the UK in 2019? You can play Coin Master with your friends, you can give them gifts, attack their villages, or raid their coins. It's up to you. You can also collect cards and get more prizes. Support my channel by downloading Coin Master now, only for my links down below in the description box. And get your 300,000 coins and 50 slot spins to get started on the first village. Invite your friends to play and get 40 spins!
Hey John, my name is Armin, and I'm just wondering of the Comic-Con trailers that were released as part of SDCC 2019, which movie are you most excited for?
So the question was, which Comic-Con trailer am I most excited for? Before shooting this video, I actually watched a few new Comic-Con trailers, and one was the Jay and Silent Bob reboot, which looks like a good time. I mean, it looks like a Kevin Smith movie, and I'm a huge fan of Kevin Smith. I like Kevin Smith, the storyteller, a lot more than the filmmaker, but I'm looking forward to that. I thought the It Chapter 2 trailer looked pretty good. I think the teaser trailer that we got originally was a much better trailer to market the movie and get me excited to see it. My father was in the circus. I actually might make a trailer review for It Chapter 2 on my main channel of FlickPick. I have a lot more to say about it. Another trailer that we got earlier today, which was pretty entertaining, was Top Gun Maverick, and this is kind of like a parody of that. And I was never a huge fan of the original Top Gun. You know, maybe the scene where all the oiled up guys are playing beach volleyball was always an interesting choice by Tony Scott. But yeah, I was never a huge fan of it. I always thought Tony Scott kind of felt like the 1980s version of Michael Bay in some regard, a lot of style over substance movies. But I am excited for this new Top Gun movie because I think it has a different stylistic look to it. And Tom Cruise is flying around in fighter jets. Okay, and the guy's actually doing it. Tom Cruise learned how to fly a jet, much like he learned how to fly a helicopter in Mission Impossible.
Hey John, what did you prefer, Infinity War or Endgame?
Ooh, Infinity War versus Endgame. Which one did I like more? I think Infinity War is a much more conclusive, put together, stronger narrative, better film. I really do think Infinity War is the stronger movie. But with that said, Endgame has a lot of stuff I like, and the way that it's paced out, it's trickled in there, and it gets a little bit messy at times. I still really loved the movie and enjoyed it, but if I had to compare the two, I think Infinity War is the stronger movie, but Endgame gives me those feels. There are a few really sad moments in Endgame. Iron Man dies, you have Fat Thor. I really enjoyed that, by the way. Some people didn't, but I liked it. And you also had really old Captain America in there, which brings me to another point, which I will save for the next 18 seconds as I talk more about this. But I think what I need to do is get Endgame on 4K Blu-ray and watch it and see how many times I rewatch it over the next 6 months. Because when it comes to Infinity War, that was my most rewatched movie on Blu-ray for like the last year. So that's how I test it. Which one will I rewatch more? Which one? That's rewatchability is everything to me. So after that, then I can give you my conclusive answer. But back to old people. The new app, the Face app, I love it. It's amazing what technology can do. It scares me, it frightens me, and it's beyond making yourself old. You can also make yourself look perfect, give yourself an award-winning smile, And that's sort of a scary thing, especially when it comes to like social media or online, or if you're on Tinder or dating sites, because you can alter yourself to look like a completely different person and customize it any way you want to. It's sort of like everyone won't actually be themselves anymore online if this trend continues. I don't know, it frightens me. And by the way, here's me as an old person. Get off my lawn.
Hey John, bit of a serious question here. How do you get through tough places in life?
How do you get through tough places in life? Yeah, gosh. I've been there, man. I'm there right now, in a way. A lot of debt, credit card debt, student loans, medical bills. It all sort of just piles up. IRS, uh, they want money. They just want random money. Sometimes they just send you a letter in the mail saying, "Hey, can you just send us money?" And you think to yourself, I don't want to. What happens if I don't? So yeah, as far as tough places in life, I think what you have to do is just look at the light at the end of the tunnel, because life turns into a rocky, shitty road sometimes, and once you go over those speed bumps and those hurdles, it smooths out, and that's the part that you have to look forward to. But also in the meantime, you just have to enjoy the small things in life. That's what we're all doing here, right? So if you like to go to the movie theater, if you like to sit at home, if you like to watch YouTube videos, if you like to go to the gym, if you just want to eat some Sour Patch Kids, curl up on the couch, watch Netflix at 3 o'clock in the morning, and then eat some frozen pizza with a Diet Coke, 3 ice cubes, and no more, no less. Keep it simple. That's what I do. In all seriousness, when life gets rough, I think it's very important to keep momentum. And do as I say, not as I do, because I'm guilty of this. I think you always need to keep that momentum. You need to keep going forward. Always be productive. Always keep going after some kind of goal. You don't have to make a huge goal. Just make a small one, then another small one, and then another small one, and eventually that will equal something much larger. But to give you my final thoughts and not sound too much like Dr. Phil, I think the most important thing is to just keep going.
All right, John. Ugh. All right, time for the most important question of all time. Coca-Cola or Pepsi? All right.
Oh, that's come on. Come on. Let me break down Coca-Cola versus Pepsi for all of you, all right? Coca-Cola is a great classic delicious drink that goes with anything, especially popcorn or salty foods, maybe pizza, whatever you want. I'm a Diet Coke guy. I know aspartame isn't great for you, but there's less carbs. It keeps me thin in my old age. I love it. Now, Pepsi, on the other hand, at one point, I liked Pepsi. Now, you can buy Diet Pepsi, which is aspartame free, which is a plus, but the downside to all Pepsi products, they taste like chemicals. It tastes like they made Pepsi, but the water that they used to mix in there with the syrup was from someone's swimming pool. It tastes like it has a chlorine aftertaste. Hear me out for a second. If you have Pepsi, if you like Pepsi, next time you drink it, think of chlorine. Think of pool water. Okay? Think of that. Take a drink. You'll taste it. You will taste it.
I love you, John. I love you, John. I love you, John. I love you, John.
I love you too. I just liked hearing that.
Hi, John Flickinger. What program do you use to edit your videos?
Oh, he waved back at me. So I actually use CyberLink PowerDirector 17. I don't use Adobe Premiere. I don't use Sony Vegas. I don't use whatever Final Cut. I like to keep it simple. I've tried out all of those programs I just mentioned. Those are all very expensive programs. They're very complicated and professional. And if I was going to edit maybe a feature-length film or a short film, I would probably use one of those editing programs. But for what I do on YouTube, CyberLink is a pretty good software. It has some glitches and stuff that I don't love about it, but and it's only crashed on me one time, which made me punch myself in the head. But yeah, it's a pretty solid editing software program, which is easy, simple to use, and simplistic. And the thing is, a lot of these professional editing software programs, for the things I do, when I've tried to use them, it ended up taking maybe 4 or 5 clicks for something that I want to do, rather than the 2 clicks I can do with CyberLink. And I used to use Pinnacle. I used Pinnacle Studio version, I want to say 12. It came out in 2012. I used that until last year. That's how long I used that piece of shit. It was terrible. It used to crash all the time. It would freeze. Everything I tried to do would just stall out, and I don't. I think I was just afraid to change and learn a new editing software. It's because it's always sort of a tedious task. But no, I like CyberLink PowerDirector, and if you guys need something easy to use, I highly recommend it.
Have you seen The Office? If so, what do you think?
Yeah, me and my lady friend Amber, that's all we watch on Netflix. We usually watch an episode or 10 of The Office every time we sit down to eat on Netflix. It's the easiest watchable show to me that there is. The last few seasons I don't like. I just kind of pretend those didn't happen. But yeah, I love The Office.
Hey John, huge fan. Who are some of your favorite content creators on YouTube? Hey John.
Thanks, man. Content creators. I always thought that term sounded so pretentious, but I like it. if I ever have to apply for a future job, I always put content creator at YouTube. It sounds so much more professional than YouTuber. So yeah, some other guys I watch on YouTube. I watch a lot of random shows. I watch a lot of professional wrestling related shows because I'm. Here's the thing about me. I love the backstage drama, the actual real life business side of professional wrestling. It's so much more intriguing to me than what's actually happening in the ring. But I watch some YouTube channels like What Culture. I, of course, like Red Letter Media. There's a few other movie-related channels I like. And, you know, of course, my friends on YouTube, I watch their channels and their videos and stuff like that. I'm trying to think of a few other random channels I watch. Oh, I watch Philip DeFranco occasionally. I used to be a huge Casey Neistat fan. But that trickled off a little bit. So the truth about me and YouTube is I watch a lot of stuff on YouTube, and I think you guys would be very surprised. I watch some channels that don't have many subscribers, and I watch channels that have 10 million subscribers. There's actually one channel I'm watching. I don't remember the names of any channels. That's the thing. That's the problem with me. But they actually break down. They watch CG, like bad CG in movies, and then recreate a better version of that CG. I don't know what that channel is, but I like that as well. But honestly, when it comes to the videos and the types of things I like to watch on YouTube, I don't like overly produced things on YouTube. I like when things feel a little bit more raw and visceral with a sense of voyeurism in them, because that's what I think YouTube is all about. So I sort of just like when one dude has his video camera and he's making a video. I don't like when I know there's a team of people behind that camera making that video. Something about that's just not as appealing as when it's just one dude, one camera, and that's what you get. I think that to me is always much more entertaining, and I sort of appreciate that kind of content a little bit more.
Hi, John. I'm a huge fan. Been watching you for a couple of years now. I'm just curious if you think there is a market for a female YouTube movie review / show review / game reviews, and just curious if you have any advice. Love you. Thank you so much. You're awesome.
Sure, there's always room. The thing is, you know, with any genre on YouTube, it all becomes saturated at some point. So I would say it's always tough to stand out. No matter how great your stuff is, it's always sort of tough to stand out. I think there's room. I think as long as you come in and you have a different flavor or a different style and a different take, and you stand out, yeah, sure, why not? But if you want some advice, you mentioned you want to do 5 or 6 different things in there, and that's fine eventually. But what I would do is try to master 1 or 2 of those things and make that what your channel is all about. So, for example, if it's movies, we'll hyper focus on the movies. Make those videos. That way you can build that audience. They know what they're getting, and throw in some variety every once in a while, but always keep the main backbone of the channel about movies, and maybe 5 or 10% can be about the other things that you want to do, like the games or music occasionally. Because people of YouTube and subscribers, for the most part, none of you guys are all perfect. I love all of you. You're the best people on YouTube, the best subscribers ever. But YouTube subscribers are very fickle, and if you make 100 videos about movies and then you make one video about music, they will unsubscribe to you. Like they become afraid and scared and confused, and they think, oh, I don't want to watch. I didn't subscribe for her to talk about music. I did it for her to talk about movies. So just always sort of be aware of that, and make your audience aware of exactly what they're going to get with your channel in every video. So anyway, guys, thanks for all the great questions, and thanks for watching the video. And like I mentioned on the last video, which if you haven't watched, well, go check it out. I talked about my podcast, which is on my Patreon exclusively, and I renamed the podcast the Flickbuster Podcast. I hope I don't get sued for copyright infringement, which, by the way, I looked up the trademark to this, so it's all under fair use and parody, so we're all good to go there. And it's a good time, so if you haven't listened to my podcast, it's over on Patreon. Go check it out. I will probably upload a few segments here on this channel down the road to give you guys some examples or sort of give you a little taste of what it's all about. But yeah, the podcast is called the Flickbuster Podcast, so I don't know. I like it. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe. That way I can see you next time.